Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Highway to the Zima Zone League matches. Tonight's match is between Simbu, Hippos, Keddril, and Mechalink. I'm Tirasu, and tonight my co-commentator is Rex Rawl. How are you doing this evening?
Doing wonderful. Looking forward to watching a league race without having the pressure of having to perform in one. So this is great for me.
It certainly is. We are currently in with the top 32, and out of these four runners, the only one that's completed one is Simbu, who took first in his match.
Yeah, he absolutely crushed me. But he's going up against Keddril and Mechalink. Them are great runners too, and it's their first race, so they're going to look to impress tonight without a doubt.
Certainly is. And we have a Kane start, which is always a nice starting character, especially if you run into that lovely Valvalis, and it looks like we're all.
Yeah, Kane is a very powerful start. He needs a little bit to get going right at the beginning, but not a whole lot. And then once he gets going, he's just great throughout the rest of the run.
And we also have a Tella starting with a hook. Now that's interesting.
Yeah, I hope that means that we're in for a hook seed. The qualifiers brought us a lot of hook seeds, but so far in the actual round of 32 matches, there's been a lot of magma seeds. So I think it would be fun to have these really skilled runners be challenged with a hook seed tonight.
I just want them to suffer with K-Natso at hook.
Hey, that could be brutal, but I think, especially with the safety of Thor Rages available in the overworld, people who are runners who are at this level will probably be able to get through it.
Oh, it'll certainly be the case. You're looking at a really good match, and our runners looking at a start in Baron and Tella guarded by Evil Wall. That's actually a kind of a nice spot for Evil Wall because of how his mechanics work. Very easy to take him out.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of weaknesses, he doesn't have a lot of, you can use either magic or physical attacks on him, and he doesn't have points there, so yeah, he shouldn't be too tough. He'll hit once or twice really hard in that spot, relatively, for how low level people are right now, but after that, they should be able to take him out without a bit.
But there was also a rune axe in the back of Baron in the grass. That's actually a pretty solid weapon for Kane, especially early on.
Yeah, it's definitely better than a starting spear. Axes are a bit unreliable with their hit percent, but the rune axe kind of makes up for it with its just raw power, and the fact that it can hit some really key weaknesses on certain bosses, like the Maga Sisters, Ashura, and the Baron Guards.
That certainly is the case. It does bonus damage to those mage-type enemies.
Yeah, also finding good items in the grass like the ninja hat and the arrow. It's actually a pretty fruitful Baron overall, I must say. We see Mechalink heading over into Mist, where there's a lot of extra treasure. Probably one that Mecha might not have taken had Tella not be the start character, since he could just exit out of Rydia's house here.
And he found a moon veil in Mist. That is an extremely powerful item that could really change the course of a boss fight. Besides giving you reflect, it gives you basically immunity to physical damage.
Yeah, and that can really be helpful in certain spots that have really strong physical attacks. Like if this happens to be a hook seed, that King Queen Evelyn spot can be a really nasty physical boss.
Certainly is the case. Simbu, now on Mount Hobbs, finds a little girl summoner, and she immediately dies.
Yeah, I mean, the 30 hit points that Rydia starts with is not...
Mechalink. Ooh, that's a wyvern in Vanilla Demas. He's not going to be cropping up and be a problem tonight.
Yeah, that's like almost the opposite of... Hippos finding a dwarf hat in the Antlion Cave. Very useful item for both agility manipulation, which is key especially against tough bosses and the Zeramis fight in particular, and the fact that it's the only weapon that you can use to put the back row glitch on Kane. So that's a really nice pickup there.
Also on Mechalink's side, he checked the waterfall cave and we saw an Odin there. So another one of those kind of nasty bosses in the right spot that you're just not going to need to worry about.
Yeah, that's a relief, and that's some extra info that Mecha will know that the other runners might, like if they see a moon boss, they might be fearful that, oh, Wyvern could be here, I better be extra careful, and they don't need to worry about that Wyvern. As far as Mecha knows that, but the others don't.
That is certainly the case. Simbu side, he did loot the back of Hobbs and found a samurai armor. That's going to be really good for that Kane. And if he goes into Antlion and gets that Dorfax, Kane's going to be a real powerhouse through this early game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if if that samurai armor ends up getting sold instead of being used as actual armor. I mean, it might be used right now for a little while, but in general, I mean, the samurai armor does have like pretty decent protection, but other things like the dragoon armor that gives the elemental resistances and the pieces of armor like the black belt that raise your strength are just generally higher tier equipment, the samurai gear.
Oh, that is certainly the case. You would love to see some dragoon armor. Hippos getting to the bottom of Antlion, running into the D-Lunars. Not going to be too threatening here with only 1,000 HP split between the two of them. This is a great spot for D-Lunar.
Yeah, and it's got very low physical attacks for when they punch you, and the fire attack is a HP percent, so it's not gonna like one-shot you with that either. So yeah, Hippos clears it without too much of a problem. It's gonna get a key item check here.
Oh, we have Bacchus and Cure 3s on the surface.
I believe that's in Edlin. I think Mecha has gone there using.
It's still, since we started with Hook, it's still pretty much surface. That's an amazing find early on.
Yeah, but I believe those can't appear on the actual surface. So,
oh yeah, you're right. It can't be the surface, but still having this early hook, being able to find that Bacchus before you're going to take on anything, that can really power through some of the other spots very easily. And then also finds a drain sword.
Yeah, that's good for some money. Simbu actually finds another good piece of equipment for Rydia in the Dragon Whip in Antlion.
Ooh, we have a foo behind package.
Well, that might be worth going through this cutscene for. And Hippos has not reset out of it, like wants to get that old Lunarian.
Oh, our ruby spot is the D-Mist.
That is interesting. Now the question is, first of all, is that D-Mist going to be hiding a special, like a very important key item? And secondly, if the magma key is available on the surface, if anybody decides to forego that, are they going to miss out on something? This is really interesting at this point.
It is very interesting. It's going to make routing fairly interesting for the seed. Mechalink picking up an Edward from that hook. Edward, actually a kind of an underrated character. That hide command can really cheese some fights.
Yeah, there's a few fights where he could be very useful, but he's a liability when that hide isn't useful because he's got very low HP. Not unless you can find like a dancing dagger or a really good bow and arrow, he doesn't provide much offense. I guess he can throw potions as well as most people.
There's a lot of interesting things you can do with Edward, and Simbu, has made guides on just how useful Edward could be. I actually enjoy having Edward in my party until you start getting to moon bosses where he's not very useful.
Oh, this is even randomized.
Some vanilla on Simbu's side, like Fabul Gauntlet at Fabul for once.
The other thing to note is that D-Mist at the Rubicon spot is going to be a very annoying fight in general because even though it's only going to do physical attacks, it'll do 3 hits, then turn into mist, and you just have to wait while it's in mist form, and that's annoying for a boss that has that much HP in the Rubicon spot.
That is very true. It's D-Mist with that mist form can be really annoying, and then that spot has a lot of HP plus a pretty solid attack power. Hippos finding the Mega Sisters behind package, trying to get that food.
Yeah, Sandy Charming Kane is going to be very helpful, but it looks like finally got him back. Shouldn't be too much more difficult from here.
Keddril is going into his Fabul Gauntlet fight, and Mechalink now picking up a little girl. Gonna be, I don't know how people are gonna feel about Rydia. I like her, but she takes a long time to really get online unless you can find one of those really good summons like Sylph, Leviathan, or Bahamut.
The other option is there was a heroine robe that we found in Baron, and there was a dragon whip in the Antlion Cave. Those two pieces of equipment can make Rydia pretty formidable pretty fast.
Certainly is the case, and you can use that combination when you're doing a grind because it seems like all the grind spots are dragon types.
Yeah, she makes, like, she can usually one-shot an egg with that dragon whip. That's really how.
And Mechalink trying to make sure that Rydia gets some of this EXP. Once again, Rydia takes a lot of EXP to get to that nuke, which is one of the main reasons why she is useful in the Zeromus fight.
Yeah, it's tough to make her as useful in the Zeromus fight. I mean, you can, if she turns into an adult, she also has access to the Zeus Gauntlet. You can also always slap bandana on her with that heroine robe and the dragon whip. She can do good physical damage, but the nuke is definitely the number one main Rydia strategy for the Zero.
It certainly is. Oh, it's Simbu got an Avenger.
Yeah, Avenger Kane is really. If we end up having to do that mist fight, I don't know how much people are going to want to be berserking there, just because it'll take so long with all those animations of the cold mist.
That's certainly true. Every time you attack the mist form, it counterattacks with the cold breath.
Yeah, it doesn't usually do a ton of damage, but it does take time, and this is a race.
Oh, Hippos using elemental magic on the Pale Dim. Pale Dim, first off, absorbs the three primary elements in fire, ice, and lightning, and then counterattacks based on which one you use.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's hasn't had that sort of attack against Pale Dim in quite a while. Like, might have been a slip of the mind, but yeah, that can definitely be. Looks like Mecha does have Sylph, so.
Sylph is really interesting because as long as you have enough MP to cast it, it is free. And on top of that, it does decent damage, but more importantly, right now, it also heals your party.
It also has a very unique property of being a single target, magical-based attack that does not get reflected. So it's actually the rare sort of magic that you can use against this. Ooh, a tiara found in Silvera by Simbu. That is probably the best piece of armor you can get for, if you're going with the spellcasting route, that is. If you want pure physical, that bandana is probably.
Certainly is the case. Ribbon's also really nice for her, but might be a while before we see one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. The ribbon is very good, but with the added boost to her wisdom with the tiara, depending on what you're trying to do, keep her alive versus dealing damage, you've got different.
This is very true. Rydia is very versatile, and Simbu going into Troya finds exits and also picks up some ethers.
That might be the old Fusia play, because unlike the other magic users, his MP, well, I guess Tella too, their MP does not increase as the game goes on and their levels increase. They're stuck at 190 for Fusia and 90 for Tella, unless you can find Soma drops or something like that. But ethers are a way that you can help with.
And Simbu having that Tell, you definitely want to have some ethers for him because it'll take a little bit for him to get going. And that was a DKC, Dark Knight Cecil, in Kaipo bed.
Well, if our runners go through that that package to get that already with Tella and Fusia. There's already an incentive to do Mount Ordeal. Both of those characters benefit from going through there, but the added bonus of getting that, if we find a Sand Ruby, getting that Cecil transformed into a Paladin is great.
Cecil Paladin having access to some of the absolute best gear in the game and the best weapon, as long as the spoon flag is not on, is just a powerhouse.
Yeah, he's even with like a middle weapon like a sword or something like that, or Ice Brand, I mean, he could do really well as a Paladin.
Very, very true. And Simbu now taking on Baron In, gonna take out this evil wall, get a second Tella, depending on what the next boss is. And it's a Dark Elf. Now that one's interesting because when you do enough damage to Dark Elf, it turns into a dragon form, and then loses some of the boss immunities that you normally have. So you can use an Hourglass on it, you can cast Weak on it if you have access to it, and just generally a good spot for this.
Yeah, and the Whip can also paralyze it too.
Certainly is the case, but Rydia with a Dragon Whip, look at that damage.
Yeah, Avenger Kane and Rydia doing the same amount of damage. That is crazy with that 4 times damage against dragons that grants.
Ooh, a Rat Tail, and we already have the hook.
Yeah, that is going to be a tasty one to try out.
And Hippos getting through that for Bull Gauntlet. It just not the funnest fight in the world, just takes time. And mechalink going to now discover that he has a full Bull Gauntlet to play with too.
Yeah, this is one where like almost everybody's going to do this fight. So you're not going to be, I think people aren't resetting out because they figure almost everybody's going to try this, especially with the opening hook. No sign of the magma key yet. I think people realize or probably assume that they're not losing a lot of time in this fight, like they might if fighting it in some random spot like.
It's certainly true. Fabul right here is not bad. Almost all runners are going to do Fabul fairly early, and with a hook route, you're going to want to check as many spots as possible before you dive that hook, simply because it could be really rough to get through the hook route.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's going to be a time commitment with that no matter what.
The one thing, though, is we do have the Hippos with that Fu. I think it's, yeah, Hippos with Fu. If Fu learns Nuke, that hook route becomes significantly easier compared to everyone else who is not checking that packet. I would really love to see D-Mist hold the magma key, though.
That would be a troll and a half. We haven't seen anybody climb Mount Ordeals yet, have we?
No one has climbed Ordeals, and Simbu going down into Eblon Cave, gonna find that Eddy, see that it's a D-Mist here, and also gonna pick up those Bacchuses when he gets to the shop.
Yeah, the shop is great. It's gonna be, you're right, it's gonna be really interesting. I want to see if anybody's going to follow this D-Mist trail.
At that point in time, though, even if you kill D-Mist, you're immediately going to want to just go through. It's going to be faster rather than trying to backtrack out, so...
Yeah, but with that, I mean, right now, Simbu has that magma. Is he going to go through this hook route?
Oh, the Rat Tail led to Magma Key. I missed that. My screen froze for a second. But seeing that D-Mist, it's one of those things, it's kind of hard to ignore that because it is potential.
So now 2 of our runners are aware of that. I imagine everyone's going to find that magma key via the Rat Tail. But the question is, are any of the other runners going to find that demist, and is anybody going to risk it?
Simbu choosing to exit out, ignoring the demist for now. Probably going to go up ordeals because he still has 2 Tellas, and you really want to get them online, which means doing ordeals.
I think the runners who have Fu have even more incentive. 3 bosses to give 9 more spells and 300 more HP. That's a huge reason to go to ordeals as well.
Oh, it certainly is. If you pick up that Fu, you're definitely going to want to do ordeals. It's too many easy bosses to get Fu even more powerful.
Yeah, with Bursik Badger in the chat, I also am hoping that Go Mode is behind that demist. That would be this a very interesting scene. Because the question is, when do you pull the trigger on doing that? Because I think that definitely the magma key is going to be the route that people are going to use to go underground, I think. But that demist, if you know about it, like, that could be the gamble of the sea.
Anyone with that knowledge, that is going to weigh on their mind throughout this entire run. Hippos kills the Wyvern and demist spot simply because he has that Fu, and a Dragon Rapidia one-shots it. Fu is a little more powerful now.
Yeah, if you can take it out in one hit, why not?
It's very easy right there. Keddril now diving into demist and going to see that Wyvern as well.
Also going to take that strategy of one-shotting the Wyvern. Also going to get the 3 more spells on Fu.
Hippos now having his own magma key from that rat tail. Probably pretty excited that he's not going to have to dive that hook. And Simbu, our first runner underground.
Hippos left the hovercraft by but if I recall correctly, Hippos has not checked yet. Is that correct?
Hippos has not checked Eblon. So
just Simbu and Mecha, right?
Correct. Just Simbu and Mecha. He probably won't really want to check that until later, but he has no other reason to leave the hovercraft over in Silvera, simply because the pink tail doesn't lead to an adamant armor. It just leads to a T4 piece of gear. So not exactly worth it unless you were turning in rat tail at the same time.
Sure. I'm just noting that he decided not to check Evelyn at this time. Simbu is the first one underground, goes and loots Dwarf Castle, and looks like he's planning on doing a little bit of a mini grind here, putting Rydia in the middle with that dragon whip. Gonna summon a yellow dragon egg using a siren, and it's gonna be worth a cool, I think, 34,000 experience.
34,000, and Rydia with a hero mode dragon whip should be able to one-shot these or be very, very close.
Ooh, just short, but was able to paralyze the egg, so it's not going to happen. And Avenger Kane can definitely clean up there.
Oh, yeah. It's very easy, good experience, and get your party ready for this underground, because it is a little bit rough on low-level parties. But you can see Edward jumping from 60 HP to over 400. Very nice, just doing a single one.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the sort of, like, the levels are nice, but you still have 2 Tellas, a Rydia, and an Edward. I mean, Kane with an Avenger is going to be doing the bulk of the work in this underground, but the rest of the party is not a powerhouse, and those Tellas don't benefit a whole lot.
No, the Tellas aren't going to benefit too much from grinding, but he does have a hero in rogue Rydia, so sticking her in the back, and she's going to be not exactly the easiest target to kill.
Oh, without a doubt. Hippos is also checking the boss in the Dwarf Castle. Looks like the first one is going to be Baigan, which could be a bit tough for the low-level party, but especially since it looks like he doesn't know Quake on Fusei yet. But that white targeting the body of Baigen should be able to take him out.
This is very true. A little bit of a rough fight. Probably more looking to get a character to replace one of these tele.
Sure.
And White taking out that Baigen very, very easily.
Yeah, as long as nobody else casts magic on it first to get the wall, then it could be useful. Simbu is just giving more reason to go to ordeals, but avoiding it. Finds the sand ruby in the land of the summoned monsters, has access to Cecil.
He has access to Cecil, but at the moment doesn't have very many weapons to really make that Cecil shine, so may hold off until he sees something a little bit better for him.
That might be. It's hard to turn him down, though.
It is very hard to turn down a Cecil. And we find Plague in the second fight for Dwarf Castle. Now, this is actually a decent spot for Plague, simply because it's a fairly low HP spot, which means powering through him is not going to be that bad. Does have a Tele dead, so as you can see, going to revive the Tele, and gets a Cecil from Dwarf Castle. That Ordeals is looking better and better every moment.
So much incentive for Ordeals, and nobody's making that play.
Keddril and Mechalink now almost at the exact same time dropping their magma keys, and that's a Valvalis and Leviathan.
Yeah, the officer soldier a lot easier since it can be cheesed with an hourglass, but man, oh man, that Valve, that is a scary looking fight.
And that spot going to be pretty fast, and Val is just going to be nasty. You do have a cane to break her out of that tornado, though, so that's going to be a really nice thing to have.
Yeah, well, we'll see if anybody dares to challenge her there.
And Simbu, making use of coffin and life potions on the general for the soldiers, gets 2 life potions, so he's going to get even more experience from this fight.
Yeah, the timing to get the double life glitch, really, like it's a narrow window in order to fit 2 potions. Really neat to see that being done.
It certainly is, and being able to make use of coffins to make that double life glitch a little bit easier is great, and you can see plenty of experience from this fight.
Should be noted, Hippos did get the Luca key as the key item from completing Dwarf Castle, so another area in the underground is open to him.
Very true, and we still have quite a few key items we need. We still need Adamant, we still need Legend Sword, and we still need a way to the moon.
Yeah.
And I think Simbu's going to try to take on the Valvalis fight. This is going to be interesting. Again, has Cane, so can break her out of the tornado, but this is still a fast spot.
Did he unequip the Avenger, or is he using the Avenger?
I am fairly certain he took off the Avenger. And Berserking Rydia.
No, he does have that Avenger on. I think he's going to be... I think this is the probably the right strategy for this Valvalis fight, is not taking her out of tornado form. Her physical attacks are a lot fewer when she's in tornado form, and if she can be hit with the berserk weapons, then it's basically inevitable. You might have to do a little bit of protection via these blinks, but with how infrequently Valvalis uses the physical attacks in the tornado form, the 2 Tellas should be able to keep everybody safe links, and the heals to avoid the gradual petrification. So I think he's got a good setup for this, right?
He does have a good setup, and you can see Cane with the Avenger doing 1,000 damage, Rydia averaging around 600-700. Shouldn't take too terribly long to beat down this Valvalis.
Yeah, it's not tons of damage. It's going to be a lower of a fight. Like, if you had a stronger party and you were breaking her out of the tornado form, and you could do full damage with your physical attacks and everything like that, it would be a faster fight, but it would be much more dangerous.
This is very, very true. And then also has that Edward to be able to keep hidden. So able to save a little bit of MP on needing to get keep those blinks up.
Well, I think we might have missaw who the character was, because Hippos picked up another cane with the sand ruby. It was not Cecil in Typo, it was Cane.
Another cane, still not a bad pickup. It just, Simbu checked it very, very fast and it looked like Cecil to me. But yeah, Cane, still a really good pickup, still has some decent gear for that Cane, you know, in the Rune Axe, Dragoon Gauntlet. So that Cane's going to be pretty solid to go. Keddril did take on the Kaipo fight at the Asura spot, but not going to tangle with that Valvolus right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to fight Valvolus here, because this strategy that Simbu is doing, as Rivers McCown says in the chat, it's a slow fight, all things considered. But it's gonna work in the end, without a doubt. This is very safe. But it's just it's whittling down, nickel and diming Valvolus instead of going all out.
And another thing, Invenerable pointing out that having to make use of Heal on Tella. Heal is a pretty expensive spell. Luckily, Simbu did buy some ethers before doing this, so shouldn't have too much trouble keeping up with Tella's MP. But as you can see, one of the Tellas is now fully petrified. And we get a Baron key from Sheila 1.
Ooh, that's rough. Missed the timing of a blink on Kane, which takes him down. So maybe I commentators cursed a bit too much and saying how safe this fight was.
Brings Eddie out, and then Eddie immediately dies. That is not what you want to see.
Yeah, well, that's Edward for you.
Flip side of the coin is Valvolus did over 2k damage. I don't think very many people in his party right now could survive that.
Yeah, that Leviathan location, notoriously strong physical attack. And Simbu is able to take down Val.
Also, Mechalink and Keddril both in Dwarf Castle at the same time, going to find that Cecil. And Valvolus just leads to a pink tail. It's a key item, not progress.
Yeah. Hippos is following that chain, going to Baron Castle. Gonna check out this location here. Now we know that this is the water hag that Hippos is going to have here. It's not going to be the gauntlet.
Water hag, very nice. 3 hits, done. And you have an Avengers Cane, going to be able to get that first hit out very, very quickly. It looks like Simbu might give us a job dwarf check tonight. Casino floor attendant.
There we are. Gotta check that employment.
Hippos already through that water hag, and both Keddril and Mechalink finishing up their dwarf castle. Gonna be probably not too amused to see a Luca key. That's always just a very long check, and the only positive to it is you don't have to fight the boss before seeing the key item, if it is a key item. And since we do know where D-Mist is, if it's not a key item, you could certainly just reset out.
Yeah, but if you're not Simbu or Mecha and you've seen where that D-Mist is, then you'd probably at least peek the boss.
Certainly is the case, and Mechalink looks like going to be finally going up that ordeals.
Somebody is finally pulling the trigger.
He has Tella, he has Cecil, definitely wants to go up ordeals.
I don't even need Tella. If I have Cecil, I want to do ordeals.
Intel is just icing on the cake. We'll be able to get weak, make some grinds a little bit later easier. And King Queen Eblon with a Rosa afterwards. Rosa's a really nice pickup. And Hippos ditching the Cecil and taking the Rosa.
Says, I do not want to do Mount Ordeal.
I don't really blame him there. His Fu is pretty close to full power and still doesn't have a good sword for Cecil.
How sad will he be if the Dwarf Castle gives a...
If Baron Castle gives a crystal sword, he is going to be very, very sad. And first fight on Ordeals is Keinatsu. Keinatsu could be scary here, not so much. And already...
Yeah, Avenger Kane's going to be quick. Another one of these really tough bosses that we're seeing in relatively easy spots. The Valvalus has been the only real, scary looking boss that we've seen so far.
Hippos getting the pan, so Sheila 1 is still required to get the pan, just in a roundabout.
And it looked like Vanilla Mylon Z second, but no, it's the Element.
Elements is interesting because it's split into 2 phases of the fight, technically. And when you do a certain amount of damage, it switches to the other phase. So you're only going to get half the experience if you kill it before you go to Keinatsu, which at this spot, not important.
Looked like Hippos was going to go immediately back into stealth, which makes sense because you want to commit to these chains. That's the only way you're going to get any value. Gamble, but decides to do his little egg grind here first. Going to be leveling up that Rosa.
Let's see what our Mount Ordeals item. Just an Artemis bow, so it's not required.
Night Dew, getting a little recap. Some of the highlights. We started with Kane and Tella and the hook. If you took that hook to Evelyn right away, you were rewarded with an Edward, but you also gain the knowledge that D-Mist is in the Rubicon spot. That is also, there was a magma key available via the rat tail through, I believe it was Baron Inn that gave you that. And then that gave you the magma key. So there's not necessarily, we've seen 2 of the runners know where D-Mist is, the other 2 do not. I think that's the most interesting part of this season so far.
We also had 2 runners take the package character who happened to be Fu, so that's a really nice bonus for them.
Yeah, and Simbu fought a long fight against Valve, landed summon monsters, but only got the pink tail as a reward.
I like this from Simbu. He is immediately diving this Luca key.
This might be a little bit of a gamble because of the time he spent on that Valvalus fight. He wants to go where people don't want to go now. And that's the seal kick.
Sylph's giving you a glass helm today, so no value from that Sheila check yet, but we still have one more turning in that pan.
Well, and there is also the Odin spot that Sheila opened up. So there still could be some Sheila value.
And Simbu taking a crystal helm, so he probably will want to do Ordeals eventually.
Or he wants to sell a crystal helm, but it's worth a lot of money.
This is true too.
So Hippo's back at the land of summoned monsters. Wonder if he wants to try out that Valvalus fight now. Because he did not go back and check Sheila 2.
No, he hasn't. Probably wanting to clear out more of this underground instead of having to go back and forth between it. So this actually does make sense, trying to route things as efficiently as possible.
Oh, sealed cave required.
Ooh, and runners are going to want to avoid this.
That is a huge pickup by Slayer.
Oh, it is a troll bez, and this spot is terrifying for Golbez. It has very high magic power, I don't think anyone in his party could survive a single hit from any of his spells. He needs to get a reflect up as soon as he gets out of this hole. Keddril now has a Paladin Cecil on his team. Oh, Rydia is immune to the hold, so that is really good. Now just has to hope that she does not get devoured by the Shadow Dragon.
And she is the first one to get eaten.
I will not admit to anything about Commentator's Curse. Ooh, Eddie and Tella are the two that survive. That could be a little scary.
All right, you need to get that Star Veil up now. Ooh, Eddie goes down, and I don't think Tella's going to make it.
Nope. And you can see these spells are no joke. Virus doing 3k, Lit 3 doing doing around 7. This is a very, very terrifying spot for Golbez.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of changes to the strategy going in again. Simbu knows he absolutely has to be able to beat this Golbez in order to complete this seed. And so, going to switch it up, going to give it another try. Hopefully everything works better for him this time around.
Certainly hope so. You want to try to get a Star Veil off before the paralysis, if you can, and hope that that character does not get devoured. Hippos taking on this Valvolus fight. Doing decent damage, but still getting beat up on pretty nicely.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he is utilizing the blink strategy that we saw Simbu use. He's also using jump to take Valvolus out of her form, so that Pustia can use nuke. So that makes sense. You can deal with Valvolus a lot quicker with this strategy, but it is more dangerous as you see just how strong she can punch food there.
This is very, very true. Leviathan spot has pretty solid physical damage.
And a big shout out is thanks to Groundflyer for the gift subs in the chat.
Slight changes to his party, and the Rydia gets devoured.
We'll see if I think he's trying to position it so Kane act as quickly as possible. Or either that or you just reset or something. Oh no, there we go. Yeah,
there's the reset. His Kane got hit with virus.
Keddril not far behind Simbu.
He's not going to be too happy to see this Golbez fight. As you can see, like I said, Golbez here is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, if you can get just that, you need one Star Veil. If you can land one Star Veil, you're good. That's what you need to do. But if Golbez insists on targeting the person that you're using the Star Veil with, then that's tough.
Is very, very true, and this spot has a lot of speed. As you can see, Golbez getting those spells out rapid fire. And just choosing to unequip Kane's weapon. Had a Dorfax on him that did lower his agility some, so wants to try to make Kane even faster.
Yeah, as our trekker tonight, Bakashinobi says in the chat, might want to think about killing off everybody except for Rydia and one other person, so that you know that she'll be alive after the Shadow Dragon.
This is very true. You could manipulate Golbez into not targeting the people you want by just killing them yourself. Keddril is now on that Golbez fight, and Mechalink is now diving the Luca key as well. Hippo still trying to work on this valveless fight, having a bit more trouble than Simbu did with it.
Yeah, well, taking the more dangerous strategy is, risk-reward thing. It is fast.
This is very true, and let's see how Keddril is able to handle this Golbez. Can he get the Star Veil off in time? He does have that Fu, so a little more agility on that side. And Fu is dead.
And Kane's got the Avenger, so...
this is a wipe. This fight is proving to be very, very challenging. Hippos gets through the Valveless. Going to be very disappointed in this pink tail. I never thought I'd see the day that I see 3 runners at Sealed Cave at the same time on stream.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Supremacy. I would probably try to kill off all but Rydia and one other person, especially in Simbu's case, and then go into the fight like that. However, as you say, heat of the moment, you're under the pressure. You want to get it done as quickly as possible. You don't want to
Rydia didn't get eaten. There's the Star Veil. I think Simbu's going to be okay. Even if Tella dies, Rydia has that Star Veil, going to be able to start recovering, or just Bacchus her and get through the fight.
Yeah, have her Dragon Whip up and let the Reflected Magic plus Rydia's Dragon Whip deal with Golbez.
You can all, at this point, just want to get through this fight, and you can see the Magic's going to do a lot of damage to Golbez as well.
It's not even taking action of Tella. Just let him die. That way that all of the
Exactly. All the Magic's going to get bounced right back to Golbez.
So yeah, GG's to Simbu. He's going to get through this. He's going to be the first through a very difficult boss. And Hippos too, heading in. Okay, everyone down here.
This is a treat, viewers. We rarely get to see everyone at Sealed Cave at the same time with a really nasty boss here. And Simbu, our first runner to beat that Golbez after 5 or 6 tries.
Yeah, it took him a while to get there. It allowed Keddril to do a little bit of catch-up here because he was able to get the Star Veil up as well. However, he's not employing the same strategy that Simbu was, just leaving Rydia to do everything by herself.
He is killing off the Rydia. Or bouncing spells. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, if he doesn't spend more time resurrecting characters, goes with Cecil and Tella, he still is, I think, going to make up time on Simbu right now.
Certainly going to be able to make up a little bit of time. His Golbez is now down.
Yeah, he definitely made up time there. Simbu still has that lead, being the first to get that adamant. We're still looking for the Legend Sword. We are still looking for a way to the moon, and we are getting short on places to check. We've got Keyless Tower, we've got Sheila 2 that we haven't seen, and we've got D-Mist.
I am still hoping for that D-Mist. Thing is, though, the runners are hoping to see, really hoping not to see darkness if they have to do D-Mist, or simply because if it ends up darkness, they're probably going to want to go to the moon since it's a more item-dense location. And if D-Mist holds the Legend Sword, it could be a very long time before the runners check that.
Hippos has got the... Was he able to get a Star Veil up? Because Rydia died. Okay, there's a Star Veil on Fu, so... He should be able to get through now. So yeah, the hippos made it through really quickly here, all things considered.
All right, Simbu is about to pick up that Baron key from Sheila 1. And I think Hippos is going to have a first try on this Golbez. Very well done on his part.
Absolutely. Like after spending the time in that Val fight and just detail, to coming back and getting that Golbez on the first time, that's a good comeback right there.
It very well is, and he's done quite a few checks. All he has left is Keyless Tower and the Sheila 2 checks. So,
well, we do have. It was mentioned in chat. Should bring it up. The Odin spot hasn't been checked either.
Oh yeah, he still has Odin checks. So I think Hippos might have a little bit of an advantage over the other runners right now.
Yeah, he absolutely could. I mean, Simbu can catch up real quick here, though, too. Because since he just picked up the Baron key from Sheila 1.
This is very true. The randomizer is still going to randomize, and you never know what could happen.
Keddril is also going through Baron right now, too, so I might have missed where he went down to get Sheila 1, but he's going through Baron as well. So, this has been, all things considered, a pretty linear seed. But Simbu finally taking the bait, going to Mountain Ordeals. I didn't think he was going to do that.
Ooh.
With this, I definitely think, Keddril, Hippos, I think, is in the lead right now. Keddril behind. Looks like Mecha's deciding to grind up a little before the Golbez fight on these trapdoors.
Trapdoors are going to offer some pretty good experience. I think it's a pretty solid play, and looks like he's going to kill off one of the kill off the Tellas.
Oh, this might be a way, once you get the right character you want for the Golbez fight instead of a grind, and instead of waiting for a random encounter, he knows I can get into an encounter right now, kill off the characters I need, and be ready for Golbez. So I think this was a very heads-up play by Ben.
It is a very heads-up play. Hippos now doing a little bit of grinding on these eggs.
And we'll see if Hippos decides to go to... Now, Hippos doesn't know about Demist in the Rubicon spot. Simbu and Mecha are the ones who check. So I bet Hippos would definitely prefer to do Sheila 2 and Keyless Tower.
This is very true. Keddril and Hippos never checked out Eblon, so they still don't even know that Cure 3s and Bacchus are in the Eblon shop, which are very, very useful. Though Hippos does have that Rosa, so Cure 3 is a little less important. And Simbu resetting out from that Artemis bow.
Just doesn't want to deal with it.
He knows where D-Mist is. It's not a key item. It's not progression. Certainly going to go to where he can continue getting progression.
Yeah.
And while we have our runners Hippos is going to finally check that Sheila 2. So is this the progress we need? Simbu now going through Baron. Ooh. Sheila 2 having a tower key. Now that makes tower a lot more appealing. And Mechalink getting through Golbez. Very well done. So now, while we have a moment and our runners are kind of covering what each other has done, I'm gonna give a shout out to our restream team, Smapey handling the restream tonight, and Baka Shinobi doing our tracking. Thank you both for your hard work. We now have hippos going into tower, and with that tower key, going to be able to full clear it. This is going to be a really nice bit of information that he has over his opponents at the moment. And it looks like we have an Asura at Odin. This is not a bad spot for Asura. You have that rune axe. If you can get reflect on her, or even just straight up out damage her, you're not going to have too much trouble with this fight. And there's the reflect onto Asura. Shouldn't have too much trouble now with this. Simbu now getting to his King Queen's fight. And we have hippos taking on dolls.
With Fusia, this should not be a very difficult fight.
It shouldn't be. Unfortunately, I didn't see if it was the behind tower key or if it's the... Oh, it's tower key.
Tower key.
That was definitely tower key.
Yeah, absolutely Moonblaze Wolf. If this is a sure fight, then keddril will be great.
And Simbu taking that Rosa.
We'll see if Simbu decides to go down and check out that as well.
And we have a moon boss, and now Hippos has knowledge of what the ruby spot is.
That's the thing, the keyless tower, well, in his case, keyful tower, but the keyless tower could give that information.
Let's see what we get from a Sir. A white spear. A good piece of weaponry for Kane, but not progression.
Nope. We do have the Canadian destroyer up at the top of the tower.
Definitely not happy to see the Nope Rope, and you can see Nope Rope doing some damage to his party. So,
yeah, when a lot of your magic is percent based, it doesn't really matter that like a lot of the other stats aren't as impressive up at the top of the tower, other than hit points. You can still take a lot of damage.
And then another thing with Ogo is when you hit him with magic, he counterattacks with that blaze attack. Fu doing a good job to dodge it.
Yeah, even Fu's initial equips are really good for magic defense with that sorcerer robe, especially. That's a really nice piece that he starts with. Oh, that's the darkness crystal.
Ooh, so that makes things interesting because darkness has a lot of key item checks up there, and if D-Mist just so happens to hold legend, could be a long time before we get to see that.
As Rawlstar said, keyless tower was the call. Yeah, that would have been huge if anyone had decided to go that route.
I love keyless tower. I don't know why everyone complains about it. It seems to always be the call.
Yeah, well, I hate keyless tower.
But you made it into the league matches and I didn't, so... Anyway, Simbu now has his tower key from Sheila too, so probably going to make his way up that tower as well.
Yeah, I also qualified on a D-Mist seed, so hopefully this is one for... That's what I'm going to be rooting for on this one, that D-Mist is still important.
I think everyone is rooting for an important D-Mist, and the only thing it could hold that we would want is that Legend Sword.
Or the path to it. I mean, we haven't seen Earth Crystal yet, too, so it could have Earth Crystal or music that leads to the Legend Sword 2. Any of that would be fine.
And it looks like Hippos is going to go to the moon now. Makes sense. That's 7 key items on the moon?
Let's see here.
Yeah, 7. There's the 5 lunar bosses, which card a total of 6,
Yeah.
and then the Bahamut spot. So a total of 7. That is your most dense location. Definitely the right call.
Mathematically. You never know, like the right. But I don't know, you don't know that, so you make a mathematical judgment or you make a guess.
It's all about statistics. Now you have me wanting, I really want to see a demist into Twin Harp, into Earth Crystal, into a Legend Sword. That would be ideal.
I think that would be unlikely, but yeah, that would be fun.
Oh, it's definitely unlikely, but it would always be fun. And Simbu doing some egg grinding.
Project Dia says, if you're feeling behind, do you think demist is the gamble? I tend to agree with you. The only problem is when you're running one of these races, I think you almost always feel like
you feeling behind in a race is a very common thing. Even when you make like all the optimal plays, you still feel behind. Hippos, gonna see if we have some value at Cave Bahamut today.
Yeah, going straight there. Didn't even check the character in the lunar subterrane for. Whew. Oh, that is Dark Knight Cecil in the Bahamut spot. That is one scary Dark Knight.
Ooh, yeah. And there's the wipe.
Yeah, it doesn't get a lot scarier than the Bahamut spot for Dark Knight Cecil to be found. In a lot of places, he's a free boss. This is not free.
Yeah, you can see he does 3 hits, and those are doing about 1,200 damage across your entire party. You need to either have someone that can tank it, which no one on his party can, or you need to be able to outspeed him and get a couple of heals off across your party. Hippo's just noping totally out of that.
Yeah, if you can get fast enough, like have Edwards hide, that might help a little bit, but my goodness.
And we have a moon child today in Porum, the inferior white mage.
I will agree with you as long as Demerin.
I am doing it because I could have swore I saw Demerin. Don't be mistaken, I absolutely love Porum, and I mean, I love running Porum %, so...
Well, Porum, I think, is very useful in the very early part of the game, and it's like, Rosa is great throughout pretty much the entire game, so that's, I think, the trade-off. Like, it's harder to get Porum strong enough for the end game.
But Porum learns exit naturally, and you have to do Earth Crystal for Rosa to get exit, so therefore Porum is in that sense.
Yeah.
And only that sense.
Hippos finding Mylon Z in the pale dim spot. This is I don't think this is going to be all things considered too tough of a fight for him. With Nuke on Fusia, I believe he's got. Oh, did he? I don't think he fought the Ashura, so he doesn't have the White Spear, but still does have the Avenger Cane going. He's got the ability to kick out a lot of damage at Mylon's Spear.
I think even Rosa able to hit with Cure 4, Rydia having Fire 3. Yeah, this fight's not going to be too difficult.
I mean, this spot does have a pretty decent physical attack, But even if one of the characters goes down, Mylon Z is not going to take out every more. Hippos is able to defeat the beast.
No, and Mylon Z is down.
And so we're going to get the first check. So now we've got a couple of really scary spots that we can. Is the progression that we need, that D mist and that pain mech.
Gets a crystal ring from the Mylon Z. That is actually a pretty nice piece of gear to get.
Oh yeah, it's a very good defensive. Between it and the protect ring, there's slightly like pros and cons each, but they're both extremely good for your mages to have for a defense.
All right, we now have Mechalink heading up into tower as well. Simbu now checking the tower key, and Keddril finishing up tower. Oh, Mechalink's gonna do a little bit of grinding.
Seeing what levels he's got right now, I think that might be a good call, considering we know that Ogopogo's up at the tower.
I do want to point out that Sheila tonight gave us, some fetch quests, a drain spear, a white spear, and no progression. Oh wait, she gave us tower key, which was still not progression.
But it did make it so people wanted to finally get into the tower.
And
so
Keddril looks like he's going to go into Eblon Cave. Maybe we get our D-Mist check.
Keddril pulling the trigger on this gamble.
I really like it. I have to respect it.
Oh, this is great. He's diving in. He saw the... Now all of our runners know, because top of tower, we see the D-Mist up there. We know who's in the Rubicon spot. So, Keddril going in. Please don't have this just be a shot check.
May also be going to take a look at the characters. I don't think Keddril... I'm pretty certain Keddril hasn't dived hook yet.
No, he hasn't. I don't know. Checking a character at this point in the steed is a little... Like, checking this one seems odd when you've got the darkness crystal. So I think if he's going, I think he's going.
Hippos having to play with a CPU, and I think this was at the D-Lunar spot.
Yeah, Keddril's not immediately resetting here, so that he's going.
He is definitely going for this D-Mist. I really like this play. Now let's just see if it pays. All right, CPU is at Plague, and it looks like Luge is at the D-Lunars.
Keddril declines taking Edward and proceeds into Upper Babel, wants to hunt that D-Mist.
Meanwhile, Simbu is going to go dive and take on Odin, or Ashura at Odin. Shouldn't have too much trouble with this, but only going to be rewarded with the White Spear.
Yeah, if he still has the Rune X equipped on one of his characters, that does 4 times damage to Ashura. Very effective here. Of course, Avenger Kane is effective and he takes physical damage.
And gonna get the Explode for Balnub today. Not very much damage.
That's what happens when you don't oil your robot.
Now we're on the second fight of Dr. Luge.
The real fight. We're also going to get a peek at the King Queen Evelyn spot, which is Octomom. Actually, kind of a scary fight for this spot. Luckily, since we've had underground access, we've got higher levels than we would normally do on a hook run. Probably not going to be as scary as it would be if this was genuine hook seed.
Right now, I am kind of glad it was not a hook seed just because of the D-Mist potential troll.
Yeah, it makes it, I agree, it makes it a lot more interesting. get a one hit from Octoman dropped Rosa to 1 hit point exactly. Oh, so close.
But Octomam is down with a nice nuke.
Yeah, not tons of hit points there, just a strong physical attack. And there is the D-Mist.
So let's see if we get our value from D-Mist today. And as Supremacy said, even worse than a hook seed, a reverse bluff hook seed.
Here's hoping. Here is hoping.
Pass and X-Scal from D-Lunars. That X-Scal is really nice. The pass means you don't have to make a walk of shame, but not progression.
Get cooped. How did Keddril know D-Mist was there? When Keddril went to the top of the Tower of Babel in the underworld, you get to see who the boss in Upper Babel is. You see the sprite. And so he saw the D-Mist sprite there, and so he knew that if he went into Upper Babel, that this spot would have the D-Mist.
Simbu now making the play to the moon, and Hippos finding Ruby at Ogo. Ooh, that is a little rough.
It's nice, yeah. Ooh, and the ice tree goes off after he closes the cloak. Always bad news there.
Ooh.
That cloak of flame, that is no joke.
You see these Fire 2 counters doing some pretty serious damage, and his physical attacks are nothing to scoff at either. This is one of the few times Ruby is really dangerous.
Yeah, and this is like one of those fights where, like, the Avenger is going to do a lot of, but it's going to proc all of those counter Fire 2 every single time, and that's just really scary.
Mechalink has his Darkness Crystal finishing up the last bit of the tower, and you can see those Fire 2s hurt a lot.
Yeah, I mean, dealing like 500 damage is like,
well,
AoE 500 damage, that is really tough. Get hit,
and
Hippo's gonna...
that Fire 2 single target doing almost 3k damage. Like I said, this spot for Ruby is very, very dangerous. Might not want to have a Berserk going.
Yeah, switching to the Blizzard Spear. Might also want to consider if he's got any in the inventory, any Dragoon gear, as it resists the fire damage as well.
But that Blizzard Spear will actually do some pretty good work on this Ruby. Going to be able to hit his elemental weakness.
Yeah, the Blizzard Spear is great that he still has that in the inventory. That's really going to help in this spot.
Keddril still taking on this D-Mist. As you can see, even with some decent levels, this D-Mist spot is just very slow because it keeps changing into this mist form, and you just have to sit and wait.
There's that, and I believe he's got the White Spear equipped to Kane, and the D-Mist does resist holy damage. So if he's trying to use that White Spear here, it's not going to be as effective as it would against other.
And it looks like D-Mist goes down. So do we get value from D-Mist? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Once he gets over to Mist Village.
Yeah, he's got to make the walk to get out of the town, and then head on over to Mist on the double.
I don't think you would really want to. You're probably just going to go ahead and finish the tower. It's going to be a little bit faster, I think.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Walk down to the underground.
Mechalink now looks like setting up for this Valvalus fight.
Yeah, Rubicant absorbs ice magic, or basically any sort of elemental magic he absorbs when the cloak is closed. But he still takes the quad damage from the, double damage from the blizzard. being the ice elemental weapon. Because resistances and immunities work weird in this game.
This game with weird things happening? Never.
This game has a lot of weird things. I think everybody is hoping for some progression. Even if it's the Legend Sword itself, I'll be very happy at that.
If this is Legend Sword, Keddril just jumps into the lead.
Yeah, and it's not even close. Come on.
Let's go Twin Harp.
Hey, you called it.
I promise I'm not invulnerable in disguise with my witchcraft.
We've had a lot of required music in the league so far. Is that going to continue tonight? He's heading there. Like, at this point, Keddril is like, I've got to commit.
No, at this point, because you did dive that D-Mist, you have to commit to the Twin Harp. So we're going to get music on Keddril's side.
Ooh, on Simbu's screen, someone else didn't oil his robot.
Takes out the cane. Ruby is down, and just for a worthless ninja sword.
Ooh, that is a tough battle for non-progression. Poor hippos there. So he's I think the wyvern spot and that pain man on the moon, and then the chain that we've got through D-Mist. This is crazy.
Smapety, our restreamer, you rolled a beautiful seed tonight.
If this D-Mist leads to the Legend Sword, this is like a Smapety perfection seed.
And besides Smapety on the restream, we also have Baka Shinobi taking care of tracking, doing an amazing job there. Oh, his foo is out of MP. You're gonna have to sit through the Dark Elf cutscene.
Probably checking the inventory for Kamikaze.
Hippos now on this CPU at Plague Fight. While not particularly dangerous, it's just very time-consuming.
Oh, I forgot that he didn't complete that one earlier, so that's another spot that could possibly thwart our D-Mist dreams.
And now we're going to be quiet for music.
Since it's my catchphrase before we go, DJ Spoonie B is rocking.
And for anyone that doesn't know this song, it is from Final Fantasy III, the final battle with the Dark Cloud.
Saw Kobahi in the chat saying that this is a dope harp song. This is just a dope song, period. Great tune from Final Fantasy III.
I mean, the game had to do something right, and it got its final boss music right.
Yeah, I really like that game.
So do I. I still make fun of it, though.
Simbu noping out of that Rubicon fight. That is a...
Yeah, that spot's no joke for Ruby. Keddril, is this Twin Harp D-Mist troll going to pay off?
Come on! Oh, Nits, don't give me a glass helm here. Earth Crystal, we're still alive! We're still alive!
What did I say? Twin Harp into Earth Crystal into Legend? Oh, this chain is looking better and better. I'm really hoping it pays off for keddril, because then everyone has to do it.
We've got a couple potential breaks here. Hippos is almost done with this CPU. That could break the chain. Simbu's in this Leviathan spot. That could break the chain, and we still have the pain. No!
Oh! Legend Sword!
Oh, but Hippos, you're in such a good spot now. First of our runners into go mode has the path, is not going to have to make the walk of shame. Just needs to go forge the crystal, head to Troya, defeat Zeramist, and we'll be able to take first place in this race. We'll see if anybody can catch up to him. Hippos is in a great spot right now.
Hippos definitely in a great spot. Simbu gonna have to get back to that plague spot and take on CPU. And Mechalink needs to get to the moon. And keddril, I'm really sorry that I cursed you with this chain.
Inveterable, Hippos shouldn't have run from that CPU the first time. No, like, if anything, this is gonna, like, scare Hippos so much that somebody else did that the first time and beat CPU, so...
The Leviathan only having a protect ring.
And Hippos seem to be pretty strong. I don't know if he needs to do anything at all. He might be ready to go. He might do more eggs. We'll see what his choice is.
Buying a Sylph summon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's for the lulz. I don't think he's actually going to use a summon against Zero. Usually a bad idea.
That sounds like a terrible idea. Doesn't have that Excal Sea Soul. You probably are going to want to grind and get Rydia to nuke for this party. I mean, he does have a White Spear Cane, but still a little bit low on the damage side. But is going for it.
Yeah, looks like he doesn't feel like he needs to grind it. Yeah, his Rydia is a little low on him. Maybe here.
Oh no, Mechalink, don't do it!
Oh no.
Oh, and Zot was a double Yang.
Yeah, well, he's the worst, so it's okay that we didn't see him until right now.
For some Mylon and friends. Alright, and there's a question we like to ask every time we get to this point. Rex, what is that?
Whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Because it is butt time.
No. Hippos did forge the crystal. And Simbu heading back to that Ruby fight. Our crystal is thrown.
Looks like Mecha avoided the Divist play. Just going in for the shops. He had gone there earlier and knew that there were extra back assist tier 3s that were there. So.
Ooh, I like this one.
Okay, well, My ignorance is showing. What is this, Jurassic?
I have absolutely no idea.
Oh, okay.
I just like it. Oh, you're right. This is from SWAT Cats. I completely forgot that show existed, Scala.
I must admit, SWAT Cats was not on my radar. But it is a cool looking sprite. Definitely.
It is. Ooh, that was a rough first Big Bang.
Yeah, I wonder if Rosa might be at an awkward agility, like somewhere between like 24 and 27.
I didn't see Rosa's agility, unfortunately. That could make this fight very, very scary. And that is an extremely fast Zeromus. Ooh. There probably goes Fu. There goes one of his canes again. Oh, Fu tank.
Rosa's still standing too. But this is going to be a this is going to be a tough one to recover from. This Fusia is blisteringly fast. Baka saying Rosa at 29 agility. Wow. 29 is usually more forgiving than this. I wonder if the other characters are lower. I mean, Kane usually has pretty decent agility.
Very true. This is still an extremely fast Z fight. Ugh. Looks like he's getting back up and recovering now.
Now, he didn't throw a Silk Web. I know he cast a slow spell, but no Silk Webs, and that's usually going to be the most effective way to slow him down outside of agility manipulation. Keddril trying for that Painman spot, but man.
It looks like Mechalink gets through the Pain Man. Very nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be anything, but still very...
Simbu now taking on this CPU. Gonna be rewarded when he finishes it with that Legend Sword.
Yeah, I wonder, like, depending if Hippos is struggling with this fight, that gives Simbu a way to possibly overtake him. It's going to be tough, though. I mean, Hippos still definitely has the lead by going back into the Zeromus.
And Keddril starting to do some grinding against the King Ryus. By the way, I missed it. What did he get from the Earth Crystal?
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't anything new. So, might have been that pink tail. Oh, no,
pink
we
tail.
found that earlier in the game.
Oh, Baka telling us he found a Leviathan summon.
There we go. Ask the tracker. The tracker knows all.
And that's the reason why we love our trackers, because they catch things that we always miss.
Yeah, because I miss a lot. Tracker took notes. Commentators did not, or at least this just relied on the old noggin. Doesn't always work. Simbu going for the reflex strats against CPU, having it take out the attacker. Going to be subject to a little Globe 199 here.
Luckily, the spot is a lot lower of HP, so might be able to get through it in time. Gonna have to see.
Hippo is now in the final battle again. Hopefully everything goes better for him this Looks like he's yeah. We're both thinking the same thing. Getting it a better timing this time. Though I'm sure not happy with the counter hitting Rosa of all.
That, ooh, and there's the Big Bang. Should be nerfed. Rosa could potentially survive it, but it'll be close. Nope. There goes Rosa, but shouldn't have too much problems recovering from this.
Yeah, as long as Rosa can get the Cure 4 off before the next Big Bang, Hippo should be in good shape.
Simbu finishing up CPU, going to get his Legend Sword and be in go mode as well.
Yeah, and supremacy noting Hippos has no heal. I don't think Hippos ever went into Evelyn Cave, and that's where those Cure 3s were. There's the shape Cure 3, not a Cure 4. I guess that does recover Rose as well. I would have liked to see Cure 4 there.
Cure 4 would have been nice, but healing up Fu, I think his main 4 party members will survive this Big Bang.
Well, Kane is a little bit of an depends on how strong a role this Big Bang is. I mean, Rydia's gonna go down.
Yeah, but it's a Rydia without nuke, so
yeah.
Ooh, the Kane barely surviving.
Yeah, that is a close one. 30 hit points. Able to get the Cure 4 off right away, which is excellent. It means that we're not going to see the dreaded HP rip. I think Hippos is in pretty good shape here. I
think like you said, he's in good shape. The one thing though is his damage is still a little on that low side. So Simbu still has the potential to catch up since his Rydia does no nuke.
Yeah, especially even though like Hippo's Rydia might not have known nuke, she was still supplementing damage a little bit with Reflected Mad. And now like taking the time out to revive Rydia when you're taking these full powered Big Bangs doesn't make a lot of sense. So I think this is the smart way of Hippos going through. It might be a little slow with the damage output, but it's a pretty full, well, not proof, but a relatively safe way of this.
Yes, it's very safe. He shouldn't have too much trouble. He's got himself set up.
I think one of the scariest things that could happen is if this fight goes longer than he expects and Lucia runs out of MP. I think that's one of the scarier things we got now. Because he's going to have to recast Berserk on the one Keen as well.
This is true. He never went into Eblon Cave, so he doesn't know where those Bacchus wines are.
Or he knows by process of elimination.
Ooh, the nuke onto Kane. That could
I think all things considered, that Kane is probably the best option because even if he dies, if you resurrect him, he's got the Avenger, so he's already berserked.
This is very true. Keddril making another attempt at this Pain Man.
He did grind in between, so he's got a better shot. As Hippos has been going through this second attempt at Zero, Simbu is now at the final battle. But I think as long as like nothing really weird, we got Meteor phase.
We're in rocks.
And there's the flash.
GG Hippos taking first place with a time of 132.51.
And we will see if we can get Hippos in for an interview.
Meanwhile, Simbu now starting off his Zeromus fight, and Keddril not too happy to see that spoon.
No, I can't imagine. Like I understand Keddril's decision making by going there after following that Ibis chain to want to go to the place where people might not want to go on the moon. It makes perfect sense. Now that you might be seeing the not done from Hippos and might be saying like, well, I guess it's probably where it should be. in the place where it's most likely to be, the Lunar Center.
I still give him mad respect for doing that.
Oh, no doubt. I'm glad that at least one of the runners showed it, you know? You see mechalink doing that Luge fight in the real fight right now. Simbu going for... Is he doing full reflect here?
It looks like it.
I'm not seeing Kane doing attacking. He might have switched to the dwarf axe. Little agility manipulation. I was set up. So it looks like, yeah, he's got nukes and whites coming out. Going for the full reflect here. This fight seems to be going very well for Simbu. And as I say that, here comes a big bang. Ooh, that's gotta hoit.
Ooh, that
But I think he'll have a little bit of time to recover, because I think here comes the black hole next. So I think he should be able to recover and finish this out pretty okay. Getting a Star Veil up right away, I think that means that Simbu knows how much damage he needs to do here, and doesn't have to wait for like resting up other characters, curing up, or anything like that.
very, very true. Simbu, a very solid runner of this, and there's the
flash.
Simbu taking second place with a time of 1:36.47. GG to him.
Yeah, very nice run by Simbu. Lost a little bit of time in the Golbez fight, but recovered really well. Takes in second place, adds that to his previous race where he has a first place. And Simbu has looked very well after runs here in this league. So very good job by Simbu. And we see mechalink now in the CPU fight, which is going to lead to Legend Storm. And meanwhile, keddril is running to the bottom. Hopefully he'll find that. I mean, I'm guessing he'll probably check the D lunar spot first, which would mean he'll see the Dr. Luge fight. Hopefully he'll get the CPU fight right after. Yep, and as expected, keddril heads right to that spot. So he's got that Dr. Luge fight here. Let's see if he remembers to oil his robot. And Mecha has defeated the CPU. He's going to get his Legend Sword and be in go mode. Where was the pass? The pass was one of the two treasures behind the Dr. Luge fight. Got the pass of the So Keddril is going to get the pass. Not going to have to do the walk of shame, but. And I believe we are now joined by Hippos. Hippos, GG on your run tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you were the only one of our runners who never entered Evelyn Cave to do the shopping character check or anything. When you saw that hooks at the beginning, were you just like, I want to find that magma key instead?
I was actually going more for levels at that point. I was just trying to be ready to do the hook route. And so I was finishing up in Baron, got the rat tail, and thought, well, why not turn that in real quick just to make sure it isn't magma key? And
yeah, and then it was that was all she wrote. Right? You had a little bit of a struggle against Zero the first time around, but you got it done on the second time. Did you feel like you were a little under level, or?
I just feel like I'm very rusty. I tried to overcomplicate a very simple fight and paid for it. I almost did it again until I kind of slapped myself and said, just literally just tank and spank this thing. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, that strategy ended up working in the end. GG's there. Did you have any other thoughts? Like there was some difficult bosses in easy spots and some other difficult bosses in some very difficult spots.
Oh, I love to see the Pain Man. It is a nice day for the Pain Man.
I will say, your goal, Bez, at Luca was you were the only one that got it first try, and that was incredibly impressive. That is not an easy fight to.
Thanks, yeah, reflect for the win. Pretty much just food carry at that point.
Yeah, I believe you were, correct me if I'm wrong, Trust, I believe you hit first to cash in the package and get food, so yeah?
Yes, Hippos, you were the first one to find that foo behind packet.
I couldn't believe my luck. I was like, I do tend to character chase when I'm not happy with my characters and, give me an early Tella, and I'm not about that Tella life, so... So I go chasing extra characters when I can, and I thought I'd check that one real quick, see if it was any good, and saw Foo and about jumped out of my seat.
Yeah, and when you get better, Tella, it's a lot better. Yeah.
I would never compare Foo to Tella because Foo is superior in all ways. But GG, any final thoughts on the seed or the flag set?
No, I actually thought I kind of messed it up a little bit there by skipping CPU for a while and then going off and getting melted by Rubicante because I left Avenger on. I thought I killed a lot of time there, and it turned out worked out anyway. So
yeah, you were making the run down this lunar subterranean before anybody. You had a little bit of time to give. It ended up working out for you well in the end. Took in first place, and I know this is your first race tonight, so you're set up real good so far in this league.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate the restream.
All right. GG's again.
GG. And we are also joined by Simbu. GG, well played on that second place.
Thank you.
So, first off, that Valveless fight was very impressively done by you.
I don't know if I would call that impressive, but...
Well, it was impressive, and then it turned out to be worthless, but... I mean, overall, you saw Cecil, never took them, left ordeals, which made sense, and then that Golbez fight, though.
Yeah, that Golbez fight. I think I might have gotten a 4-minute catch-up time period if that had gone right the first time. Unfortunately, Golbez in that spot, it's not really something that you can guarantee a win without a ribbon or an adamant armor, which we can't get those. So it's like, okay, try number 1, try number 2, try number 3, try number 4.
And Golbas just kept wanting to.
Yeah, like I set it up so that Kane and Rydia, if either one of them survived, then they would have a Starvel up and the fight was won. And then if Eddie survived and Golbez targeted one of the Tellas, then he could have gotten his Starvel up as well. But every single time.
Any thought to like killing off some of the for that fight?
I guess I could have thought about doing that. I was honestly a little bit tilted at that point, so I was just like, come on.
No, I can totally understand that, especially like you see that adamant and then the Golbez like trolling you right behind that required item.
I don't know what
for that time that it took to beat that Valvulus.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the chances are there, but I would say there's like a 75 or 80% chance every time I went in that battle that I would win, and I lost like 3 times in a row or 4 times in a row. I don't even remember.
He just didn't like the summoner and he didn't like the dragoon. That's all it.
And even when he left Eddie alive, he didn't like Eddie. It was like, I'm going to virus Eddie first. No, you're not going to get a Starvel up. What are you thinking?
So, D missed that Ruby spot. That was an interesting thing to just weigh on your.
Yeah, and I figured at least one person would take that bait. And after Val and Golbez and everything else, it was like, either someone's going to take that, or it's going to be Darkness Crystal, or something. Like, either it's required and I have to go there, or it's going to be the last thing I do because I'm way too far behind.
So, we did have someone do the D-Miss. D-Miss led to Twin Harp, which led to Earth Crystal, which led to Leviathans.
I feel sorry for that guy. Yeah, that sounds awful. But, I mean, rando's gonna rando.
Yeah, we, and I believe the audience too, were in favor of the D-Miss check, but the way that you routes ended up pretty good for you. Second place, and after you took first place by destroying me in the first race. But you're sitting really well with a first place and a second place. Do you feel good about your position in the league?
I feel pretty good. My next race is against El Magus and Night Dew and Baka Shinobi, so that's going to be anyone's game.
Murderer's row there.
Yeah, so I think any one of those four, any of us four could take any place, like if you take the wrong guess. So there's a potential I get a last place finish, but that should be recoverable with another third place finish in my final match, which I think that's with, let me see who that's with real quick. That would be Fizz, Aaron Castro, and Swimmy. So not the nicest group to try to get a third place finish with, but hopefully we'll just go in there. I'm really wanting to beat El Magus with Eddie Strats. I just want to introduce him to the new metagame. Like, hey El Magus, you were gone for a while. Let me introduce you to what we've been practicing while you were gone. So
you're hoping for like past Magwiki Legend Adamant all right away. Get me Eddie right into the end right away.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. Well, good luck on that.
GG again, Subu, and looking forward to your remaining races.
Absolutely, and GG's tonight as well.
Yeah, thank you guys for the restream and everything, and have a good night.
Yeah, take care. So that's Simbu finishing second place tonight. Make sure to give all of our racers tonight a follow if you can. We got Hippos, keddril, and Mechalink all performing very well today. This is ending up to be like a really close race, all things considered. Hippo's at 132, and we're just at 150 now. And both of the runners who are left are in the final fight now. Nobody is struggling in this one. Everybody's doing very well tonight.
And all our runners tonight have been playing very, very well. And it's just, you know, rando's gonna rando. You have to make the right guess. We have Mechalink in Medio Fade. And Keddril. One thing I want to point out, when Keddril did that Earth Crystal, he took the Falcon there. So when he reappeared in Baron Inn, he was back in the Enterprise. So the Falcon was blocking the landing for him to get to the Z fight. And I saw a flash.
Yeah, GG's to Mecha. Third place, 149.54.
GG. Let's see if we can get him in for an interview.
I will say one of my little mini rules in the game is never take the red airship to Zot for that specific reason you just mentioned, Jurasu.
We've all done it.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It wouldn't be a rule if I hadn't have done it. Probably multiple times.
And while we're waiting on Mechalink and Keddril to finish, just to let everyone know, tonight this isn't the only race. We have a doubleheader immediately following this.
Absolutely, right here, right on the Free Enterprise channel. So it'll be pretty shortly once everybody finishes up here. We have Invenerable, RN Castro 86, Big Donka, and Penguinator in a race. So everybody stick around for that. It's going to be.
And we are joined by Mechalink.
GG. That Kane that managed to Avenger glitch himself into being barehanded was painful. Lesson learned there.
The Avenger glitches are real.
Yeah, the Avenger glitches are super real.
So you managed to avoid the biggest bait of the seed, which is chasing that D-Mist to the Rubicon Smite.
Yes.
You saw that very early.
Yes, I saw it early, and actually that was incredibly informative, right? Like when suddenly, knowing where D-Mist was and then hitting Baron Key, right? Like it's not Baron Key, but Magma Key. Right? It was possible that D-Mist was the solution, but people wouldn't necessarily have gone to get it because they get Magma Key, right? Like so, I was like, okay, well, I dodged the bullet of if it is D-Mist, I know where it is. Right, and then it so happened that it ended up not being necessary.
So I take it by that knowledge you meant if I have to go there, I'll go there, but I won't go there anyway.
Right. It's more that like I know where it is,
yeah.
Right, and I also like as compared to somebody who like never saw D-Mist because they never went and got it, right, like and then so anyway.
Now, I also want to point out another thought. One of the big battles in this, and I'll say all four of you were in that Golbez Steel Cave Adamant position, like all at basically the same time.
Really?
But, yeah. I mean, like a little bit of differentiation, but you were all in the Steel Cave. One of the things that I really liked about your play on that, you were the only one that kind of utilized that trapdoor fight to kill off a couple of characters to go into that Golbez fight that second time. That was a really heads-up play that none of the other runners took advantage of that, and so I just wanted to point out that I thought that was really smart of you to do.
No, I realized going into the, like, I tried it a couple times and like, can we get ready to survive? And it's like, no. And I'm like, okay, right? Like this time we're going to use the trapdoor because I know I can get some people dead. Right.
Yeah, and like I thought, like people might turn on random encounters and try to run around them.
Right.
But you knowing that you could get it right there, you don't have to wait for a fight or anything.
Yeah.
That was really smart.
I had that thought too. I was like, okay, turn on random encounters. Pause. Wait, we have trapdoors. It's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. At first, I thought you were trying to grind up a little bit, and then like once you started turning your attacks against your own, like, oh no, this is what he's doing. That's.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm glad that was, because I felt good about doing that, even if it hadn't, that I got the 1/3 where Radio died anyway. That time they didn't hit Cecil, and so we got the Star Veil up and got it done.
All right, well, any other thoughts on this run tonight?
Let me check my note. The pan being behind Sheila was nice. And then ending up being worthless was also nice.
Yeah, that was very interesting Sheila because it gave you key items and none of them were progressed.
Yeah, no, that was a very interesting thing. I felt really good when I found Dark Crystal at the top of a tower because I thought that it's possible that somebody, if it was on the Earth, somebody might have taken Dark Crystal, gone straight to the moon, and missed it. It so happened that it was not, in fact, on Earth, and so it's like, okay, well, yeah, I was really feeling like I was feeling excellent if it was stuck on Earth, right? Like because I felt like I had, you know, not fallen into any of the traps on Earth. So. Yeah.
Well, once again, GG on your race tonight, Mecha.
Yeah.
And definitely want to say good luck in all of your other races in this league today.
Yeah, thank you. With Simbu in it, I was kind of expecting to get no better than second. So, but at least I'm not fourth. My practice races, I've been racing alongside all the other races, and I've been getting virtual fourth. And then last night I got virtual second, and so I'm like, okay, right, like I got a chance. So I'll take 2 points, and we'll do better next time.
All right. Well, once again, GG's, and thanks for joining us. Mike.
Yep.
And I believe we are also joined by keddril.
GG keddril.
Well, if you take fourth place, you're definitely the people's champion for going after that D-miss. We were all hoping that was the right play to pay off because that would have been so epic.
Yeah, I thought that was a galaxy brain move right there, but turns out it was just a 20-minute time sink in the end.
I mean, D-miss leading to Twin Harp, leading to Earth Crystal, and then you took the Falcon to Troya. That was just I loved it. I have mad respect for that.
I was hoping, I knew it was a huge gamble, and I was just hoping that it would pay off. Because I thought D-miss is in such a trolly spot there. I mean, you have to go through the King Queen Evelyn spot.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, you know, I'm going to take a gamble and see if it pays off. Yeah.
We were commenting with, or chatting, like the chat and everybody, noting that if this had been a hook, it would have been a lot less, because that play wouldn't have been there. Like I said, we were all rooting for you, and if that led to, like, you were the only one who took that bait, so if that had led to the Legend Sword, you would have been first by a long time.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
that was my, when I saw it, it was like a big internal struggle. I was like, oh man, like,
when you
I knew I still had the Valis down in the Land of Seven Monsters too, and I was like, well, you know, frig it, I'll just try D-missed, see if it pays off.
Were you feeling behind when you made that? I know it's hard to tell in these 4-player.
No, I wasn't. Only because I was hoping that other people just sort of took a gamble in and of itself and tried Hook Seed and then just spent 35 minutes getting stuck there and then gave up.
Yeah, well, you made the gamble, but I will say this, you played impressively well tonight. I mean, everyone had to deal with that Golbez at Luca, and I will just say that is one of the most difficult fights that you could run in.
Yeah, I had no idea that it had such a high magic attack there. I thought with Evil Wall, I was like, well, it can't be that bad, so I didn't heal up or anything the first time, and then that Lit 3 hit me for like 6k, and I was like, oh, that's a thing.
I don't know if it's the counter stone or the crush that requires the magic power, but it is nasty there.
Yeah,
that spot has, I think, if not max, very close to max magic power, and I think it has to do with crush or the petrify. But yeah, that spot is no joke when it comes to magic power. On top of actually having good hit points.
Yeah, so, I'm glad I bought those 2 Star Veils then.
So you still have 3 more races to get some better time. Hopefully you don't end up like me and take another place back to back.
Well, I think I'm going to continue to make the big gambles just to see if they pay off.
You know, if I'm watching or doing commentary, thank you for that.
Sorry, what was that?
I said, if I'm watching or doing commentary, I'll be thankful for that every single time.
I mean, you definitely won the people's hearts tonight. You gave them a very awesome harp song, and everyone was rooting for you. So very well played tonight, GG. Any final thoughts?
No, I mean, rando's gonna rando, so that's all I can do. Thought I played well, and it was a pretty good seed otherwise.
Oh, I can say something for you. The phrase is "no gamble, no future."
There you go.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, keddril. And if you're around, you might want to stick around for what I'm going to announce next. Reminder, everybody, stick around right here on the Pre-Enterprise channel for yet another Highway to the Zenith Zone match. I mentioned it not too long ago, but just a reminder, we will be having Invenerable taking on RN Castro 86, Big Dunka, and Penguinator. And you're going to get Lore Master Motos and Tower Sheep on commentary. That's going to be here soon. Tarasu, any final words before we go?
Just once again, thank you to Smape D for handling the restream tonight. An amazing job as always. Also for rolling this incredibly amazing seed. And then, of course, thank you to Baka Shinobi for handling the tracking and catching, the things that we, as commentators, we do miss. So, GG to both of them. Thank y'all so much. And once again, Rexfall, it's always a pleasure working with you, and I really enjoyed getting to do commentary with you tonight.
Yeah, this was a really fun race to watch to come, because of not just because of you, Tarasu, which was great, but the great racers that we had to watch tonight too. This Zenith Zone is giving us some really fun races to watch, and hopefully it's going to continue very shortly with that other race that we just talked about. So, thanks everybody, and I hope you have a good night.
See y'all soon.